Tell me, you talked about food.
Yes.
People now say that Ireland is a melting point for international food.
Yeah.
So, do you think that would have come with the advent of new immigrants coming into Ireland? Tell me what kind of food.
I think there's two things. I think the Irish had travelled before the immigrants arrived, had started taking holidays abroad. And now they travel all over the world. And so that educated their palate. And now you can walk into Dublin and get all these exotic spices and foods. And I always think it's a great talking point, food. Sitting people down around a table, brings them together, and it's a great conversation opener, asking about it. And, I think it's something that people immediately have in common. So, to look at me, food wouldn't be wasted on me anyway. Now, I do find jalapa rice or red rice a little hot. I must say I'm not a great spicy person, but I'd always I'd try everything. And it's interesting for a nation that is surrounded by water, how the Africans always eat fish, etc. And, I think you have a lot to learn. When I use African, I'm probably primarily thinking of Nigerian, but we've many other African countries as well.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
The dropping came in at a point when new immigrants were coming into Ireland.
Yes.
They were confused, they were afraid, they didn't know what to do.
No.
What do you think the dropping, how do you think the dropping helped them? And how much empowerment do you think the dropping gave to them in different ways?
I think the first thing is to make people feel welcome. I think the most important thing is to smile to somebody on the street, make them feel welcome. And don't get me wrong, unfortunately, I'm aware of racism and the fact that people could experience abuse. But the one thing I felt was when they came in here, it was nice and warm and welcoming. And hopefully they felt welcome and at home. To me, that was the most important thing. Yes, if we could help them in giving them information, if we could help them to speak English or whatever it might be, terrific. But I think the most important thing was to make people feel welcome. And once they were welcome then, it was a good starting point. And then if you could equip them after that, so much the better.
And you think the dropping really played a part in giving...
I do, in fairness now, I really do. I think it was what we would call homely and warm and welcoming, and that people came in. And like I often say, I would be ignorant of other cultures, but just to have a joke with somebody, to pull their leg, I think, like, and to me, I always enjoyed dropping in and whatever it was that they were at, admiring it. And then obviously, as I said to you with food, well then you learn about different things. So no, that's what I would hope. You'll have to ask the immigrants, am I correct? But that was what I was hoping for. We are supposed to be the country of 1,000 welcomes. And the Irish have travelled all over the world and should make people welcome. Unfortunately, I know that mightn't always be the case, but hopefully they will remember that they were made welcome here in Tallaght. And the same with my Indians, like, I hope when the story comes to be told of Indians in Ireland, that they'll remember that it was the welcome they got and the start they got here in Tallaght, like being able to use the church for their own services or whatever. So you were saying there about Ireland becoming a melting pot, but in a way I wondered, did the drop-in become a melting pot? And I would say that it would have been very interesting amongst the immigrants themselves. Did they have to mix with people they mightn't necessarily have mixed with at home? And as they came across other nationalities, and I think by doing that, that probably prepared them for dealing with the Irish and our funny ways, you know. So it kind of gave them exposure to different people and different cultures. And you know the old story, once you get to know somebody, there's nothing to beat getting to know somebody, to discover your own common humanity. And I suppose that's what I have really enjoyed.